Hey guys, welcome back to Team Death Slinger. My name is Peter, and today we're here to get a little silly with it. It's time to do some rocking and rolling. You can see in the bottom right-hand corner of our screen that we have a BlackWarGreymon. I am aware that his Digiburst effect does not work with any of these inheritables, but I have a deck so preposterous that I thought I would bring it before the council and get your thoughts. It is by no means fantastic, but hey, I think it's fun. Let's start with our eggs. 4 copies of EX10 Tumblemon. Opponent's turn once per turn when one of your opponent's Digimon attacks by trashing 3 mineral or rock trait cards from this Digimon's Digivolution cards. End that attack. We care about this because I want to stop the opponent from swinging over our probably suspended bodies. I want to be able to stop attacks. I think there's a lot of freedom to be had by this effects. It also does not specify that the Digimon whose sources must be trashed from must be a mineral or rock Digimon, so we can have a suspended BlackWarGreymon on the board, and we can still trash 3 mineral or rock trait cards from our sources to end the attack. No, we won't get all the benefit, but we can end an attack, and I think that's very versatile. Stealing a memory, also perfectly valid, I think, but I think that this comes in handy more often than not for me. 4 copies of EX10 Sunarizamon. On play, you may place 2 cards with the mineral or rock trait from your trash as one of your mineral or rock trait Digimon's bottom sources. Spoiler, what we're trying to do here is to either scramble back or play or have a Sunarizamon on the board, stack sources underneath it, warp into the level 5 Proganomon, and then either go into BlackWarGreymon for some shenanigans. We probably can't do that off that specific play because we don't have rush, but being able to warp into Proganomon, go into Magneticdramon, and do Magneticdramon things, while also having the ability to stack sources, go to BlackWarGreymon, swing a bunch of checks. So this is fantastic for the warp play into Magneticdramon because we can play it, stack sources underneath it, and then we are setting up a Magneticdramon that has a ton of sources. The inheritable here, when effects trash this card from a mineral or rock trait Digimon sources, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost 4 or less. It's going to wipe away the wide board bodies, the little annoying floodgate bodies, which we love. We have 2 copies of the EX8 Sunarizamon. On play, reveal top 3, add a card with rock or mineral, a card with liberator, and return the rest to bottom. We do have to be careful with this. It does whiff our BlackWarGreymons and our, I think it's called Bulbmon down here, but everything else is fair game, so that's fantastic. The inheritable, again, deletes a level 4 or lower, play cost 4 or less Digimon. And then we have 4 copies of the promo Sunarizamon. Your turn, all of your black Digimon with 13k DP or more gain piercing. That probably won't come up hardly ever, but your turn, while this Digimon is black and has 13k DP or more, this Digimon gains security attack +1. That will come up, and that will be relevant, and it is very, very funny when it does matter. For our level 4s, 2 copies of Landramon from EX10. On play, when Digivolving by trashing any 1 card with the mineral or rock trait from your Digimon's Digivolution cards. One of your Digimon with mineral or rock trait gains reboot, blocker, and 3k DP until your opponent's turn ends. That's kind of nice. The inheritable here, when effects trash this card from a mineral or rock trait Digimon's sources, delete something with a play cost 4 or less. There's a theme here. I think you can feel it. You can smell it in the air. It is going around. 4 copies of EX8 Landramon. When Digivolving, we get to play a close. If we have 1 or fewer tamers, we want to be stacking up those closes, especially the mem setter closes, because they let us stack rock trait sources underneath our minerals whenever we evo. So we want to be able to do that. Then this also lets us pop something play cost 4 or less. 4 copies of the promo Landramon. Start of your main phase, when Digivolving, by trashing 1 mineral or rock trait card from any of your Digimon sources, reveal top 3, add a rock or mineral trait card to the hand, and place 1 as your bottom source. The rest go bottom or top of the deck. What is nice is you can choose top or bottom for those cards. And then the inheritable here, when this gets trashed, you get to de-digivolve 1 of your opponent's Digimon. Certainly the best inheritable we have access to in the level 4 pool, so 4 copies of this guy is mandatory. For our level 5s here, Bulbmon from BT20. Blocker, opponent's turn. When this Digimon would leave the battle area, you may play 1 play cost 4 or lower Digimon card from this Digimon's sources without paying the cost. What I think is kind of funny here about this, also the inheritables, we'll talk about the inheritable in a second. Because we said that the whole plan here is to basically play a Sunarizamon, warp into Proganomon, and then probably warp into Magneticdramon to do some shenanigans. This is actually really, really good at doing that. It is a blocker, so we can force the trade if we want it. And the inheritable here, when 1 of your opponent's Digimon attacks, you may change the attack target to this Digimon. It is really funny when this winds up underneath the Magneticdramon that has Fragment 3, and then you just get to force the opponent into swinging into it, and if they actually can delete it, you get to trash sources away and punish them for doing that as well. I just really like this card in this deck. I think it's quite funny. We have 4 copies of the EX10 Proganomon. This is the cornerstone of our deck. We care about this so much. Hand, main. If you have close, by placing a Landramon from your trash as any of your Sunarizamon's bottom Digivolution card, it digivolves into this card for a cost of 3, ignoring Digivolution requirements. So that is the plan. That is what we are doing moving forward. We are using rocks as an engine to get into that level 7 Magneticdramon and basically cheat a level 5 to get into a level 6. On play and when digivolving and when attacking, not once per turn, by trashing any one mineral or rock trait card from your Digimon sources, one of your such Digimon gains collision, piercing, and 3k DP until your opponent's turn ends. What is cool about this is that since you get that until the turn ends, when we digivolve into BlackWarGreymon, we become a 14k body that has collision and piercing. The inheritable here, when this card is trashed by a mineral or rock traits sources, you get to de-digivolve one on one of your opponent's Digimon. That's awesome too. But you can see the plan here, the mad plan starts to come together, promoting something like this Sunarizamon while you have a close on field, putting a Landramon underneath it, warping into Proganomon, trashing a source to give yourself collision, piercing, and 3k. Aha, the gears, they're turning. We could BlackWarGreymon swing in for 2 checks, collision, piercing, unsuspend, do it again for 1 check though, because we'd have to trash away probably, I think, the Sec +1 inheritable. Actually, we can trash the Tumblemon egg, so that's not entirely true. But you're getting the point here. It's kind of cool. We have 4 copies of the BlackWarGreymon. It just has a Digiburst to unsuspend this Digimon. So the more sources we stack underneath things, the more sauce we have. Another thing worth mentioning about that warp play too that matters is that the close that is a memory setter allows you to stack up sources when you evo into the mineral or rock trait Digimon. So we are not necessarily just locked into having a Tumblemon, Sunarizamon, and Landramon underneath our stack. And when we go into the BlackWarGreymon, we can, the more closes we stack up, the more we get rewarded for doing this warp play, because we get to stack up a bunch of sources. And it's totally possible, if you manage to grind this game out late, that you have a bunch of closes stacked up, you do this funny warp play, you stuff 6 sources underneath your card, and then this BlackWarGreymon is just the hedge trimmer, the lawnmower. He's the helicopter propeller just ready to get in there and start spamming 14k checks, and the despair in your opponent's eyes when they realize that the biggest jank pile they've ever come across is wiping out their security. That's some satisfaction, and that's the way Digimon is meant to be played, okay? So that's our main level 6 in the deck. Going alongside it, 2 copies of the new EX10 BlackWarGreymon has Raid, Reboot, Blocker, Blast Digivolve on play. When digivolving, delete one of your opponent's play cost 7 or lower Digimon or Tamers. More often than not, I find myself hitting a Tamer with this. The 7 cost or lower is a little bit narrow to be hitting a Digimon that I really care about. And then all turns while your opponent has a Digimon with 13k DP or more, your opponent's Digimon's effects don't affect this Digimon, and it gets 13k DP. Or sorry, 3k, not 13k, 3k DP. So he will be chillin' as a 15k raid, reboot, blocker. And I also really like when I set up the Bulbmon and I get to Blast Ace into the BlackWarGreymon, and then not only are you a raid, reboot, blocker, if the opponent's got that 13k or more, you're a 15k raid, reboot, blocker, not affected by your opponent's Digimon effects, and you can redirect an attack into the BlackWarGreymon Ace. Like, it's pretty silly. It's kind of annoying to deal with, so I kind of dig it. We do have the 3 copies of Magneticdramon. This can, while you have close, evo on top of Proganomon for 6. Otherwise, it is 4 on a level 6 Black Digimon. Has Fragment 3, so if it would be deleted, you can trash 3 of your sources underneath it to stop it from leaving the battlefield. And then when digivolving, when attacking, by trashing 3 mineral or rock trait cards from any of your Digimon sources, delete one of your opponent's Digimon and trash their top security. That feels really good. If you get in 2 of the Sec +1 checks with BlackWarGreymon, and then you get to resolve this when digivolving or when attacking, hopefully on when attacking, you can then trash away their last security and swing for the game. Fantastic. When digivolving, when attacking once per turn, by placing 3 mineral or rock trait cards in your trash as this Digimon's bottom source, it unsuspends. So more aggressive pressure, get in there, punch face, and win game. We're on 2 copies of the unique Emblem Gravel Hearts. I think this is a little bit optional, to be honest with you. On main, you play Sunarizamon or close from your hand or trash without paying the cost, then place this in the battle area. I usually use this to play the 4 cost close. And then on your turn, when any of your closes suspend, delay one of your mineral or rock trait Digimon may evo into a card with mineral and liberator traits in the hand with the cost reduced by 3. It is technically delay, set up a free evo, and it does get you a close on the board. But, you know, 2 copies of Black Scramble, another way to set up the Sunarizamons on the battlefield if you have nothing on board. Great comeback mechanic here, especially with that Proganomon Warp. 4 copies of Defense Training. I don't know why I have this art. This is my least favorite art, but reveal top 2, grab 1. Great search package. 3 copies of the EX8 close. Start of your turn, if you have 3 or less memory, set it to 3. And then when any of your Digimon digivolve into a mineral or rock trait, by suspending this Tamer, place 2 cards with the mineral or rock trait from trash as that Digimon's bottom source. What is actually really relevant about this too is it does not say when one of your mineral or rock trait Digimon evos into a mineral or rock trait Digimon. So when BlackWarGreymon evos into Magneticdramon, you can shove sources underneath the Magneticdramon. So that's pretty fantastic as well. We have 3 copies of the promo close. Sorry, guys. It's really good. Start of your main phase, if your opponent has a Digimon, gain a memory, and then when it affects trash sources from any of your mineral or rock trait Digimon, by suspending this tamer, place a card with mineral or rock trait from your trash as any of those Digimon's bottom sources. What I care about here is that if your opponent has a Digimon, gain a memory. Just a great way for us to be starting on 4+ memory, and then whenever you trash sources, you get to stuff them right back underneath your thing. It does not work with BlackWarGreymon. I know it's a tragedy, but it works for everything else, so we are going to run the card. So, that is what I'm doing with BlackWarGreymon and EX10. Not the direction any of you thought that I was going to go with this, but here it is. Rocks BlackWarGreymon. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Thank you to our channel members for supporting this channel. It's people like Langlong, Big Z11, Coffee Deus, and DigiDane who make videos like this possible.